city, state, and local, and federal government officials are being trained just the same way the media is trained to dismiss you and trained to manipulate you. This Defending Utah broadcast is brought to you in part by K-Talk Radio AM 1640, Black Lotus Web Development, blacklotuswebdev.com, the United States Constitution Made Easy to Understand by Dr. Lonnie Crockett, available at the Defending Utah Liberty Store, Shem Financial Services, 801-856-6151, Trust Plumbing, 801-808-5470, Higher Calling Firearms, highercallingfirearms.com, Pioneer Family Scholars, American Appliance, 801-254-2566, and Anderson Accounting, 801-225-0396.
Can't get enough Defending Utah Radio? Then follow us on Facebook and subscribe to Defending Utah's YouTube channel. DefendingUtah.org. Think right and wrong, not right and left.
Welcome back to Defending Utah Radio. This is Ben McClintock from DefendingUtah.org, where we think right and wrong, not right and left. We encourage you to go to DefendingUtah.org and pick up your Liberty supplies there. We have great items, T-shirts, we have booklets, we have DVDs, and we also encourage you to become a member. Don't just, I say this a lot. I don't want to be the most informed person in the concentration camp, saying, I told you so, saying, I knew this was going to happen, doesn't do you a whole lot of good. We've got to learn what's going on, and so we can be more effective in doing something about it. And so we encourage you to become a member of Defending Utah today. Before we went to the break, we were playing clips from different media things. We had on C-SPAN, we had one of the actual a minor news service at the White House press conference asking President Bush about the government's propaganda pieces that were being run as news. And Bush is kind of, just shrugging it off, saying, well, this has always been done. And so the government has always done this. This is something that they, for many years, worked with the media to propagandize the people. And then we played another clip from a so-called investigative report showing how the so-called news station manipulated their investigation to make it look like something was going to happen to a car that they made happen. They overfilled. They set up. They actually sparked the fire to make the fire happen. It wouldn't have happened naturally, but because they sparked it, then of course there was an explosion. And so, of course, there's an explosion when you light up gas. But and they were forced. Thankfully, somebody on the ground there blew the whistle on it. But you don't hear it. How many things out there in the media are happening that we don't get to hear? The whistle doesn't get to get blown. The media is being, well, not the media, I'm sorry. Your elected officials, city, state, and local, and federal government officials are being trained just the same way the media is trained to dismiss you and trained to manipulate you. Your elected officials go through actual training to know how to learn how to effectively manipulate or dismiss you if they can't manipulate you. Through many, we see this in many different throughout at least the last 20 years consistently. There's been reports put out by Rocky Mountain Power, by the city of Salt Lake, by the state of Utah that use the same language, as well as HUD, so the federal level as well, showing local people this. What they do is they give these acronyms to people. So if you are a citizen that is not in favor of a big government program, if you're like, hey, I'd like to keep the culture of Utah, the what made it so great. Why do people want to move here? Because of the culture that it was founded upon. So let's preserve that. Now they're going to call you a cave person, Now, is that just a pejorative? They're just calling you a caveman? Well, that's part of it, but it actually stands for something. What they mean if you go to a city council meeting and you hear somebody say, "Oh, that guy's just a caveman." Well, Citizens Against Virtually Everything is what CAVE stands for. And so they just dismiss you as, oh, you're just, you're not really serious. You're just against everything. And so we don't have to listen to you because you're just, no matter what we come up with, you're going to be against it. So we just get to dismiss you. And so they come up with these different acronyms to be able to dismiss citizens with legitimate concerns, with actual, coming to you as an elected official to dismiss you and to just accept whatever the predetermined outcome is. And that's exactly what organizations like Envision Utah do. They come in with a predetermined package, and then they come into a community and they say, okay, we're going to do a survey on how to sell them. And so then if you're not sold on their Agenda 21 big government socialist program, then you're a cave person. You're just against everything because you didn't fall for our sales program. And so we can just dismiss you, and we're just going to come in and do our program anyways. And so people get frustrated. They show up to a city council meeting, and they're like, they're really excited about making their voice heard, and then they get a bunch of people to show up, and then all of a sudden, nothing happens. The city council votes against them and does the exact opposite of what everybody that showed up. So why should we be involved? And so this helps the enemies of freedom, because now people that care about liberty, people that care about the Constitution, people that care about preserving the culture that has made Utah the place that it is, that our nation was founded upon. And so then they can just railroad everything through without any opposition. And so it actually gives the appearance of popular support. It's nobody opposed us because every time that when people do stand up, because they don't understand how the process works, they give up. And so that's one of the things why it's beneficial. Why shouldn't you just like, oh man, I enjoy defending Utah Radio, but I don't know about becoming a member. Well, part of becoming a member helps. We do trainings for activist members to help you navigate through the kind of garbage that your elected officials are trained to perpetrate on you. And this is not just, locally. This is going on all over the country. I want to play a video that was in Oregon that about this guy. They in city council meetings, they regularly have like public comment time where the public can come in and have their piece, talk about maybe a piece of legislation that the county's going to be working on. And so this was a circumstance where a citizen at the Seattle City Council came to speak to them about a subject, and this was what happened.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Before you start the clock, could you stop it for a second? It's real discouraging to come up here and see all the heads down. It's like,
Sir, you're on a 2-minute timer here, so let's go.
I'm not following you.
You're on a 2-minute timer.
Could you start it over, please?
No, we're not going to. Just go ahead.
So it was unreasonable for you to ask that people look up and give me their attention?
Sir, you have 2 minutes. We're all looking at you. You have 2 minutes. Now you have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay, well, I guess I won't be able to say it. Last week, you limited, this kind of goes to the heart of what I was going to talk about, which was the state of our democracy. Last week, you limited speakers because of the number of speakers to 1 minute each, but you allowed Camilla Jayapal to speak as long as she wanted to. It was 4 or 5 minutes. And it reminded me of George Orwell's famous saying from Animal Farm about how all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel like I'm being treated now, just because I was kind of asking for your attention. Like, I noticed you all were very attentive to Ms. Jayapal last week. And I just wanted to ask for your attention before I started. And I immediately got a hostile response back from you. I don't understand that. So you don't ever respond to citizens? Or what?
You do, sir, but you have 2 minutes for public comment to the agenda items.
Well, it's all on tape, and I think it's a pretty sad commentary that you think that asking for you guys to look up off of your computers and give attention during this short period of time was an unreasonable thing. I really feel bad about that.
Thank you. Who's next?
So, thank you. And so this just happens over and over again. You know, the city council or your state legislature, they have committee hearings and they limit you, you know, just because, you know, of course, like that gentleman said, some animals are more equal than others. You get 1 to 2 minutes to testify on a bill or to get the legislators or your city council to listen to you about something, and they're not even paying attention to you. They're, like the guy said, they were looking at the computer. This happened in the state legislature this year where they allowed, so the person pushing the program all the time in the world that they wanted, but the opposition only had 2 minutes to talk. And so, and they'll say, well, you know, if we let people just say whatever they want, they would just come in and give speeches, and we'd have to just listen to everybody all day long. We'd never get anything done. Well, that's what you signed up for. Now, because you're an elected official, you get to pick and choose whose voice gets to be heard and whose gets to be silent, and you're just going to ignore them because you're just so busy. And during the city council meeting, you don't have time to listen to constituents talk. It's outrageous. And it's unacceptable. The sooner that we realize how illegitimate these elected officials are, the sooner we can actually take the steps necessary to take our liberties back. Because right now we're spending so much time. You know, you go to these trainings that other organizations put on, and they always emphasize on how much we've got to give these elected officials respect. Well, in the state of Utah, and all across the country, but, you know, these examples in the state of Utah, where our elected officials are expecting us to just bow down to them while they mock us, while they make crowns out of our letters to them about legislation, mocking us. When they brag about throwing away letters in the garbage from their constituents. But then they want us to be respectful to them and not call them out on the legislation that they do that takes away our liberty. That's outrageous that any organization would actually support that, the propaganda of we have to bow down to the elected officials, otherwise they're not going to listen to us. They're elected officials. That's what they signed up for. And so we see these organizations and these elected officials that are promoting this idea of just bending over to whatever these legislators do, and we've got to be nice to them. No. We've got to stop this mentality, because this is the mentality that's got us to where we are today. We can't continue on working the same program and expecting a different result. What are your thoughts? 801-254-1640, 801-254-1640 is the number to call. We have to take back, you know, we are sovereigns. The government exists because we delegated certain authority to them because we don't have time. We've got jobs. We've got to be able to take care of our families. And so we delegate certain authority to them to be able to protect our life, liberty, and property. And they act like they're our boss, and we've got to bend over for them and do whatever they say and accept all of the abuse that they give us, the mocking that they give us. But as soon as we call them out, now we're being rude, and now we're illegitimate, and now we shouldn't be listened to because we're calling them out on violating their oath, on going beyond the delegated authority that we've given them. Now we're the bad guy. This is totally Orwellian doublespeak. It is gaslighting. This is, if you're not familiar with the term of gaslighting, it is a term that is used to describe abusers blaming the victim for being victimized, or for actually blaming them for the calling the abuser out. And they say, "Oh, I would never have done that if you hadn't done X." So blaming them, and so they blame us for their disrespect because we're calling them out. on them violating their oaths, on them taking away our liberties, on them becoming tyrants. You have Evan Vickers from Cedar City making a crown out of the letters from his constituents. And then when he's, it's against the rules of the state Senate to wear hats. And so somebody said that, said, it's against the rules. And then somebody else, well, it's not a hat, it's a crown. And everybody laughs, ha, ha, ha. Now we get to continue to make fun of the constituents. That's how our elected officials from city, county, state, and federal government treat us. And we're trained by other organizations in the state to not be rude, and their definition of rude is, hey, legislator, you're not allowed to do that. Hey, legislator, look at the bill that you did. It takes away our freedom. Oh, no. Oh, that's so rude. I've been following because we were building Defending Idaho as well, expanding Defending Utah into Idaho. Been following the legislature there. It's a very contrasting thing compared to the Utah legislature. We have actual conservatives in the Idaho legislature calling out rhinos, calling out committee chairmen for killing good bills and for pushing through bad bills. That would literally never happen in the state of Utah. I've talked to legislators here in Utah, and they say no, they do not rock the boat because that means that their bill is not going to be heard. Why do we have better legislators willing to stand up against the corruption in their state, but we have zero legislators in Utah that are willing to call out the corruption because they're too afraid that their bills aren't going to be heard, or that they're not going to get committee chairmanships, or that the party's not going to support their reelection? Utah should be leading the way, but because we are too cowardly to call them out, and we have other organizations in the state of Utah that are supposedly conservative or family-friendly or libertarian saying that we've got to just accept them. We've got to stop. We can't call them out on their baloney because they're exposing legislators' records as rude. That's not rude. That's us as citizens doing our job and holding our elected officials accountable. We've got to stop this and stop putting up with legislators and organizations that push that lie that we can't call out our legislators, that we can't call it like it is. They're doing it in other states. They're not afraid to do that in Idaho. We should be as brave as they, at least as we should be braver than them because of who we are. We have more of a history on these things, and we should be leading the way. More when we get back from the break right here on K-Talk AM 1640.
Tired of bureaucrats and tyrannical government? Defending Utah knows how to fix that. It's called nullification. To find out more, stop by our office and pick up your pamphlet on nullification today. DefendingUtah.org. Think right and wrong, not right and left.
This Defending Utah broadcast is brought to you in part by K-Talk Radio AM 1640, Black Lotus Web Development, blacklotuswebdev.com, the United States Constitution Made Easy to Understand by Dr. Lonnie Crockett, available at the Defending Utah Liberty Store, Shem Financial Services, 801-856-6151, Trust Plumbing, 801-808-5470, Higher Calling Firearms, highercallingfirearms.com, Pioneer Family Scholars, American Appliance, 801-254-2566, and Anderson Accounting, 801-225-0396.
It's a fact. More photos of you are being taken than ever before. Are you ashamed of your smile? At last, a new technology that gives a brighter and healthier smile in under 2 hours. And it's fully warranted, so you'll never have to worry about your smile again. Call Dr. Jeremy Thompson at Thompson Dental, 801-254-0835, or visit GoNewSmile.com, and we'll show you how you can restore your faded, yellowed, or worn teeth without surgery, crowns, or implants. And it's backed by a 30-day, 100% satisfaction money-back guarantee. This scientific breakthrough will painlessly transform your appearance in one visit. The smile you've been waiting for will never cost less or look brighter than it will today. Call 801 254-0835 or visit gonewsmile.com. That's GONU smile.com to revitalize your smile. New Smile. It looks good on you.